Hello, this is Father Aaron Westman with the Glen Mary Home Missioners, and this is your Missioner Moment. My brothers and sisters, what I have to say today is both intense on the one hand, but also, I think, very much a message of hope. We know that we have been in solitude, we've been in lockdown, and for many of us, this has meant that we've had a lot of time to kind of sit with ourselves, think about who we are, perhaps reflect and even pray some more. And oftentimes when we do this, we begin to see parts of ourselves which don't make us so happy. Perhaps ways we've been hurt in the past, maybe the lingering effects of sin that are inside of us, perhaps even kind of wounds that exist inside that really have never healed, and we've been able to ignore them because we've been busy, we've been running around in our lives, but now we're sitting in place and we're looking at ourselves, and these wounds are festering and they're bothering us. And this could be really a scary thing. It can be a painful thing. It can be really a challenging thing. And it really invites us to ask the question, what does God desire us to do with the wounds that we find deep inside of ourselves? In the gospel that we hear this weekend, we encounter the story of Thomas. And Thomas, after requiring or desiring to meet the resurrected Christ before he can believe, stands in front of Jesus, and Jesus allows Thomas to touch Jesus' own wounds. Now imagine this, the resurrected Christ still has the wounds of the crucifixion. And Thomas touches those wounds, and it brings about a deepened faith. Why? I would be willing to bet that as Thomas touched Christ's wounds, not only did he realize that it was Jesus himself and the wounds that Jesus bore, but I believe that Thomas realized that those were also his wounds, because Jesus took upon the wounds of the world, uniting them to himself, bringing them to the grave, and rising so as to transform them to be founts of life and hope and grace. My brothers and sisters, in the face of our own woundedness, we have the option of turning to Jesus just as Thomas did. And this is difficult for us to do. It means that we have to get in touch with our wounds, but to bring our wounds to Christ, to unite them with the resurrected Jesus, and to realize that Christ has bore our own wounds in himself, uniting them to the cross, putting them to death, and then transforming them through the resurrection into founts of love, and grace, and faith. Indeed, if we bring our wounds to Jesus, we too will be able to say as Thomas did, "My Lord and my God."